1,000 kilometers with dog sleighs, and you'll hear how just one of the things that I was speaking to some of you about was that how they when the state subsidized the building place like in the North Cape Center and the hotels, you do need languages. You need to speak at least English and preferably also French or German or Spanish, and not a pretty little place, but a very good and useful place, and very popular, as usually fishermen. Yeah. So we're just going to turn around here. Can't really call this rain. This is just a bit of a drizzle, liquid sunshine, very good for our skin, and further up we're just going to make a little morning stop. It's just gonna be a coffee stop, and types of music which really comes over more as noise. Yes.
You said a word that I didn't understand. What's a cassette?
Winter, so there's often blizzards or big snow drives building up on the road. So there's often snow convoys, snowplow convoys across here. But I want to tell you a little bit about one of the cities up in the mountains in the winter. Now it's a little bit more diversified, but it still has not been a good year if you haven't had some time up on your the mountains in the family summer cottage. Very, very important. It's a salmon spawning river, so you might keep a lookout for that. Anyway, back to the cabin life here. Now, the cabins are sitting on leased land, and it's the state or the local council that sets up the leases. And then when you buy a lease, it is forever after. It's not like it's a still rules. You can't build big up here, and you can't build in very bright colors. The law says that also a keen mountain hiker still, and it's quite interesting. They when she turned 80, they commissioned a statue of her. You know how statues of royalty are always in. That's how she is when she's at her best, climbing mountains. So that statue is in front of the in the Royal Palace Gardens in Oslo.
Winter is being bloody.
It's basically coming up, and those are the utility huts used by the reindeer herders up here.
People not spend their holidays living in those huts.
It's a revolutionary thing, and one of the reasons is diet. That's a major reason.
Protein.
Yeah, eating protein, but also eating healthy like vegetables, and they survive instead of dying early in infancy. Say a poor person, like a land farm labourer and so on, in the mid-19th century, he and his wife would have 15 children or somewhere around that. The mortality rate amongst children was high because it was a hard life. I remember reading an autobiography by a Swedish. And that with education, why we have the 7 o'clock departure the day after tomorrow. And please bear in mind that you need your mosquito stuff for all the things that we are doing in Alta.
More money here, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Slate roofs here, and the people here at Alta know that when they put on a slate roof, it will last for well over 100 years, no problem whatsoever. Up at the north, practically all the homes and houses were razed to the ground. Again, but just around here it's mainly industry and commerce. So now we begin to climb up to what I have not seen that on many years. There's a place where we stopped for lunch where
Fly, because you're killing.
Ago, he told me a story about the king. Otherwise, as I said, they are very discreet. They like him very much. He's a really how they split the slates. They'll show you how they make roof tiles, and then it's your turn to make your own little coaster out of slates, to operate the slate scissors. I think if you've been down to the main square, you've seen the statue of the slate cutter. Imagine standing there with those any heavy bags you can leave with me if you like. I'm going to stay put there so I can guard your bags. Bring a light jacket with you. It's a little bit chilly. Bring your whispers, of course. We're only 15 people, but it means that we can spread.
By that same vegetation we're looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
And if you see here, this stone as well, they found stone carvings for about. That was actually the trend to do in Europe since the 70s. And then at the 90s, they found out that it actually is graffiti and ruining the paintings, how there normally was. But now to remove the paint will be even more damaging for the stone carvings, so they just decided to keep them. This one, it's a bird. It normally goes diving, and then when it gets up, it stands like this. And yes, precisely, a cormorant. It actually seemed like a hunt because it seems like these are following the boats. So maybe it was more like a fishing, or they were just out fishing and then they saw a lot of moose and reindeers that were traveling.
Because it was 2 to 3 degrees warmer back then, the trees would be big. And then the elk, you can feel that it's really different texture on them, because they are made with different stones.
Good books. On the bus. On the buses. On the buses. Red van.
Yeah. Well, before we get any older, we gotta do our farm traveling, and then
Onkel Frank, ja det. Ja, så det er dejligt.
Sledgehammer than we produce. But we also have this one. Air hammer. It's perfect. It's you can cut here. You come up here. Yeah. For only three, because I want to produce the floor.
In my group, there's a lady and she was cutting slate like she had been born to it. He was, wow. Turned out she was a dentist.
Guess what?
Cheese.
This is kind of Carter.
The company is divided into 3 different things. No.
the markings on that one.
Yeah, but it's the exact opposite of any husky.
Oh, it might be. See?
The one at the cattle here.
15 and 20,000 seamen were stationed here at Alta as part of the Nazi German naval forces, and this was the main port. It's the Fjord. You can see it's an arm of the main fjord, and here in the Fjord the Tirpitz was well protected, and both here was so low that very often during spring floods, when the snow was melting massively down from the mountain, it washed the beach here, which we're all very happy about. So anyway, the Tirpitz was finally made. Well, it was damaged so severely. Like Denmark was occupied by Nazi forces on the 9th of April 1940. And we are also getting into mining country. So many of these small villages all the way down here along the coast, they grew up around small mines, mining ore, copper, lead, zinc, small mines that have gone now. Very often see, like you can see down on your right there, KVAE, and in Norwegian and Danish we spell, or we write A and an E together, and a little bit of current going out, as you can see also here.
Oh, yeah.
Early 90s, and then a few years back when we had the big bird flu scare. That fight it is when you hook a wild salmon, because it's all muscle power, and it will fight you. Translation of that is a salmon that's been dug down. It sounds a bit strange, but they would it's actually marinated. You can see with the cod, the liver and the roe. saw quite a bit of infrastructure this morning, and see here a nice new tunnel that we just came through. And this stretch of road here has been improved no end, little by little. To our sort of eye, it doesn't look as if there are many people living out there, but if you sail further out into the Lyngen Fjord area, there are quite a number of small villages and communities. There's even some industry. Coming down here tells us that there's still, and again we can't see it because of the low clouds, quite a bit of snow up on top. That is.
That's it, but very nice.
It can be many different depths. So when it's said a fjord is so and so deep, then what is meant by that is that at its deepest. The autumn market, also some of the smaller areas here, and Skibotn here has easy access up across the
Waterfall with snow and
yeah, a huge, great big block of rock, probably tumbled here. Or so here on our left hand side. Day to day we have been in all the three northern counties. Finnmark started, Troms briefly. If the weather clears, you might decide to give it a go. It's a bit up to the cable car station to catch the cable car. It's a little bit of a steep walk. It's not a long walk, but it's a steep walk. Meters long. When they were building the iron ore railway, they sailed all supplies into the very, very innermost end of the fjord and unloaded it there, and then they thought you can still on a clear day sail on the fjord here and look right down in the water, and they're there. And maybe, one of the railway workers. And now we cross here. Way over on your left you can see a statue of a woman on your left. And just on your right here, the bridge and the sign on your right with all the distances, just up on the bridge.
totally the same. It's totally different. And it's totally different. Oh, yeah. Look at the power lines. One left, one right, you'd have.
So there we're going to have an early night.
Yes.
So we're nearly there, nearly at the weekend, I mean.
Chelsea's there anyway.
So away we go, heading down south. It's gonna be a long day, but also an absolutely nice. It's just one building up on top of the mountain. So it's a very different cup of tea. And then after we leave the Arctic, we have got almost 3 hours to compete on good quality and fast delivery this far away. It used to be that the carriages would come thundering down through town for their tap water, but generally, as I was talking to one of you about, the water, tap water everywhere in Scandinavia is very Narvik, and today as we travel south we'll see and cross many bridges, and it's interesting to keep the speed limits. Of course, the idea is that if you don't keep the speed limits, you don't see the full picture. So again, before around about 1980, there was no bridge here. So this was another place for a very beautiful view. Now on your left into the Skjomen Fjord. For all of today, we are still in northern Norway. With alcohol, and also actually in Sweden and Finland, also sale of alcohol, liquor, and had a very, very difficult and unhappy upbringing, which of course also affected the way they lived their adult lives, and still. Couple on this tour where the lady was a doctor and she was going to work in Tromsø for a year after the trip, and I recommended, and then they came back. So it's quite interesting. Obviously the herrings change their migration routes, but you can make your choice here. There are plenty of restrooms on board the ferry, and it's all on the same level, the level we drive on board. Or you can walk on board when, of course, when the boat comes in.
No.
know already. But otherwise, I'll introduce you to Norwegian Irish. If any of you are paying cash, then I would like to give you an envelope for the cash. So just see me during the day today, and I'll give you an envelope so that that way it's quicker. Otherwise, it can be a bit of a lengthy process if I have to sit and do all. The area around Fauske. So Fauske is very much a little commercial town for the industrial communities that surround Fauske, and they're sort of spread. The year near the road. You can sense that it's quite windy up here, and it is in the winter as well, and that's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to keep this road open in the winter, but it has to be kept open. There's, as I said, one building and one round building, and the Arctic Circle runs right through the building. There's a nice shop there, and it
was pretty good at, aged 4 years and 5 months. Migration to coastal pastures.
Didn't understand that.